It's so nice to be back.
Yeah, you're looking sharp, bud.
Thank you,
looking
man.
Good.
Thank you.
Do you miss me, seeing and talking to me every
I do.
day?
We overlapped for 2 years on SNL. We weirdly spent more time collaborating on this podcast. It was the best.
I had such a great time doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you and I'm friends with you, but I really got to know you, and we spent like 15 hours together talking.
It was, yeah. I think the very fact that we had to make this podcast and it forced us all to talk about ourselves, it was a very cool thing, and I felt very lucky to do it with you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, buddy. But it was us. It was me and you. It was Jimmy Kimmel.
It's not important who the other people were.
That's right. It
It's
doesn't
you,
matter.
me, and three guys.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
It could be three nobodies. It basically was.
We kind of got to know what we were doing, though, by the end.
Yeah, but you were the best.
No.
Yeah, no, everybody, look, you hosted the 5th episode.
We all had to host an episode.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so you hosted the Newlywed Game. We were foolish enough, we gave Jimmy all of our wives' phone numbers.
Yeah.
Which never do. If a dude's like, hey, I want all your wives' numbers, we're like, oh, okay. Like, you'd be better off giving away your social security number.
I have everyone's wives' numbers. Well, I thought it was interesting because we're all talk show hosts and we're all, luckily, very happily married men, and we have families. I go, that could be a fun episode.
Yeah.
Let's talk to the wives who actually see how crazy we really are and see how our answers match.
Yeah, like
other.
a Newlywed Game style. It should have worked.
Yes, it should have been that.
Yeah. But it ended up being something better.
Dude, John Oliver was laughing so hard, I think he like broke a rib or something.
It was, John Oliver, who's, of all of us, maybe the most capable of stoicism, laughed so hard at the way you phrased the questions that he kept falling out of the Zoom box.
Yeah. He was falling down. He was laughing.
He would come back through like a pendulum.
Well, you know what? What happened was, because I was like, all right, I didn't want to bother the wives, but I wanted to ask them the questions like, when did you first fall in love, or whatever. So I just wrote them in a text, and I just sent them texts with not even really questions.
You used a lot of pronouns loosely.
So I didn't know if you were talking about
them
you or them.
Yeah. The best one in the first episode, because you just wrote to my wife, pet name, ?
Yes.
And now I think that my wife should have assumed you meant what pet names we have for each other.
So you were like, I know what it is, it's Babe.
Yeah, I thought our pet name for each other is Babe. I explained it, told a long story.
And I said, I think your wife misunderstood the question. Because I think she gave us your actual pet name, your pet's name.
She texted Jimmy Frisbee, which is our pet's name. And the funny part about that is that would be the dumbest question on the Newlywed Game. Like, imagine if you couldn't match with your spouse what the name of your pet is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's not even like, you don't know each other. You might not live together.
Yeah, I think Colbert was like, this is turning into like an Alzheimer's exam. Like, who's the president?
Who is, yeah.
What year is it?
Yeah. And then we went back to the well, which is a very dangerous thing to do in comedy, because you had a lot of questions you'd asked them that we hadn't gotten to in episode 5. And episode 11, we did it again, and it was equally good because you weren't allowed to go back and ask the questions better, because you had to use the original answers.
Yeah, the original bad answers from the original questionnaire that I sent out.
Also, my wife was, let's be honest, my wife took this as an opportunity to do bits.
What we devised from interviewing your wife is that she's trying to kill you.
Yeah. Like, it was like, what's the hardest you've laughed? And I'm like, oh, our kid said this funny thing. And then her answer was the time he fell out of a canoe. They were all like, there was like evil had befallen me. And then she copped to another answer she gave you that we didn't get to that I think proves my point that I'm about to be knocked off.
I sent I said a speed round.
Yeah.
We didn't get to all of these. So I'm like, salty or sweet? Again, I didn't say who. Like, I didn't say the husbands or the wives. Like, so people were answering for themselves.
Or the husband. You never even knew, right.
I, to this day, don't know what question I asked. I don't know what I expected, but she said salty. I think she meant her?
Yeah. I think she is a salty person. Yeah.
No. That's not what
Well, based on her answers, Jimmy.
No, okay, listen. Morning person, then she said, where you propose. The 5th one I asked, I said, big spoon or little spoon?
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be funny because
that's a good question.
I think that'd be hilarious.
And my wife's answer is not a funny answer. Look what she wrote.
Knife.
When I go missing, Jimmy, go to that, send the police to my apartment.
That was really funny, Alexi.
Oh.
That was great.
It is very good. Very salty.
Very, very funny. She was fantastic.
She did. I think she did a very good job. I'm actually very proud of her for her comedy choices.
All the wives are extremely funny, and I go, wow, we're so lucky, for God's sakes. Oh
Those were her, the ones where the focus was on her were her 2 favorites, and she didn't listen to the other 10.
I love her. You know what I loved her? Because she popped in one of the Zooms wearing a late night with Jimmy.
That was also very hurtful. We're doing a Zoom, and she has a late night, not even a Tonight Show, a late night with Jimmy Fallon t-shirt from when he had my show.
I didn't have your show. I had my show.
Now. Look, she's my wife.
I have her cell phone number.
She came in wearing she showed it to all the other hosts.
Yeah.
Here
It looked
I
great.
am in my Jimmy shirt.
Yeah. And then we started talking about merch.
Oh, yeah.
In the NBC store.
Yeah, look, I brought proof. Because I feel like I don't want to come off as complainy on the podcast. But here's the thing. Jimmy and I both have television shows. They're both an hour long. We should have the same amount of merch in the NBC store.
We're in this building together.
I had to do a collage to get all the Tonight Show merch. That's a Tonight Show. Look at that. There's a whole, by the way, second card, Tonight Show. Late night merch, just like one barely attended wall. There's only one. Thank you. There's only one show that has less merch than me, and it hasn't been on the air for years. That's it.
Oh, that's fantastic. I like Save the Bell. But
thank you.
Yeah, so but I was saying to you, I think that
you came up with a great idea. You solved this problem.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I said, because Closer Look is one of your biggest things you do and the biggest hits on your show. People tune in for that. You do a great job, by the way. By the way, congrats. The show's fantastic.
Thank you.
And you do a great job. I think you should have a T-shirt that says,
it's time for.
It's time for.
In big letters. This is your idea. It's time for. Yep. And then here's the shirt in tiny little letters, because we're going to do this.
Yep.
In tiny little letters, it'll say, that says a
Can we zoom in? It says a closer look.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be real small. Judging by the crowd, I don't know if this is going to work.
Well, or they all need glasses. I don't.
But or you can even just do a closer look, just really small. Get rid of It's time for.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like.
Or maybe in the middle. Wait, what is this thing?
Based on we're gonna make this the tag. It's gonna say Late Night with Seth Meyers, shirt written by Jimmy Fallon.
That counts as your merch.
We want to give you credit. And based on the audience reaction, NBC says they're gonna order 2.
Limited edition.
And if those two sell,
who knows what's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen?
More with Seth Meyers when we come back, everybody. A Closer Look T-shirt.